Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep into a really cool supernatural fantasy novel called The Observer by Brian Thompson. We've gone through a whole bunch of reviews to give you the inside scoop on this wild afterlife adventure.
All right, Section 1, Waking Up Dead. So, how does this whole thing kick off? Well, let me tell you, it's not some peaceful journey into the light. No, this one starts with a massive shock to the system that grabs you right from page 1.
And right there, with that one line, we meet our main guy. Can you imagine? He's totally confused, completely in the dark, and, well, he's basically having an argument with himself that he can't possibly be dead. And you know what? Reviewers absolutely loved this opening. They called it a masterclass in how to create instant mystery. So yeah, meet Frank Hess. He's a 42-year-old teacher who wakes up, well, not really wakes up. He's a ghost and he has amnesia. He's just floating there, watching doctors trying to save his own body, seeing his family breaking down, and he has no idea who he is. It's a heck of a setup for a story about figuring out who you are when literally everything has been stripped away.
Okay, next up, the rules of the afterlife. And let's get into it, because this is where things get really interesting. This is not your grandma's heaven and hell story. No, Thompson builds this super complex world from the ground up, with its own spiritual food chain and a whole new rulebook for what it means to be, dead. Reviewers went nuts for how imaginative it is.
So, this spiritual world is basically broken down into 4 types of spirits. You've got your good guys, the observers who help out the living, and the guides who are like the trainers for new spirits. Then you've got the morally gray tricksters who could go either way. And of course, you've got the bad guys, demons who just want to cause as much chaos and pain as possible. This is the whole new world Frank finds himself dropped into.
And that first one, observer, well, that's Frank's new job title, and it's what the book is named after. But being an observer isn't just about watching from the sidelines. No, these spirits are hardwired to be empathetic. As one reviewer put it, they're constitutionally bent on helping humans. They actually feel our pain. So you can imagine, it's not just a job. It's this huge emotional weight they carry around.
Of course, every new guy needs a mentor, right? And Frank gets Michael. And Michael is something else. He's a 4,000-year-old spirit who looks like a teenager. How cool is that? Critics absolutely loved this character. He's the one who shows Frank and us, the readers, how this whole crazy new world works. And he's apparently super wise, but also pretty funny.
But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Using your power isn't free. Every single time a spirit steps in to help or to fight, they're burning up their own spiritual energy, their own essence. And if you use too much, too fast, poof, you're gone. A second, final death you can't come back from. This one rule just injects so much tension into every decision these characters make. All right, Section 3, a war for human souls. So you put all these rules and different spirits together, and what do you get? A massive conflict. Yeah, this afterlife is definitely not a peaceful, fluffy cloud kind of place. It's a secret battleground for an ancient war, with human souls caught right in the middle. And this right here really breaks down that central conflict. You've got the observers on one side, trying to help us out with these little nudges, those gut feelings we get. And then on the other side, you've got the demons, whispering all that negative stuff in our ears, trying to push us towards our worst impulses. Reviewers said this was just a brilliant way to show that constant tug of war for influence over humanity. So just when Frank is starting to get the hang of things, boom, he finds out he's not just any spirit. He's got this insane natural talent for using spiritual power. This completely changes the game. He goes from being the confused new guy to maybe, just maybe, being this prophesied chosen one who could tip the scales in the whole war. All of a sudden, the stakes aren't just about him anymore. They're huge.
Okay, Section 4, what the reviewers said. So what did the critics actually think? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of what they loved and maybe a few things they weren't so crazy about in this big, ambitious book.
So here's what's really fascinating when you look at the feedback. The praise is huge. Super imaginative plot, amazing world building, characters you can actually relate to, and a strong emotional story. But on the flip side, the biggest critique is kind of linked to its biggest strength. That marvelous, detailed world building, some reviewers felt that it sometimes slowed the pacing down. A couple also mentioned some of the dialogue felt a little stiff.
And this quote from the Wishing Shelf review pretty much sums up all the good stuff in one go. A fast-paced, paranormal thriller with a highly unpredictable, imaginative plot and a strong cast of well-developed characters. I mean, that really hits on the key things that almost everyone who reviewed it loved. It's exciting, it's creative, and the characters feel real. And hey, it's not just the professional critics, right? The actual readers seem to love it too. Over on Goodreads, it's sitting at a 4.3 out of 5 stars on average. That's a really solid score, and it tells you that the book is definitely hitting the mark with a lot of people.
All right, we've come to the final section. Should you read it? This is the big question, right? After hearing about the crazy premise, this detailed world, and what the reviewers had to say, is this book going to be your cup of tea?
Well, here's a little checklist for you. You should definitely pick this book up if you're into supernatural fantasies that have really unique, thought-out rules. Or if you love stories that dig deep into things like identity, memory, and finding your purpose. It's got a great mix of action, mystery, and real emotional depth. So if that sounds like your jam, you're probably gonna love this. Because at the end of the day, The Observer is more than just a cool ghost story. It's really a deep dive into what it means to exist, you know? What happens when you lose everything you thought to find you, and you have to find a totally new reason to be? It's the kind of book that makes you think about the little pushes and pulls in your own life. So the real question is, are you ready for a journey like that?